Welcome to Unspoken Obligations with me, Kaitlyn Parker. This is the place where we explore the things that we don't even really know we need to figure out. It's the place where we dive into these unspoken obligations that maybe are good or maybe are not. I know about unspoken obligations because I have been living them my entire life, and so have you. You might just not realize it. When I was doing this research and making sure that I knew what the hell I was talking about, when I was talking about unspoken obligations, I looked up what unspoken obligations actually means. I'm going to read to you some of the wording that I found for obligation. What is an obligation? An act or course of action in which a person is morally or legally bound, a duty or commitment. That's an obligation. But we're morally bound. What does that mean? With reference to the principle of right and wrong behavior, in a way that is considered right according to the code of behavior in a particular society. So an obligation is something that we need to follow based off of what society tells us is right or wrong. Unspoken. It is an unstated thought that is understood or felt. So it's something that's not spoken, but you should just know by the way you think or feel that it's supposed to be done or not done. It's expressed or understood without being directly stated. An unspoken agreement or assumption. It's an unspoken rule. Unspoken obligations. Unspoken, we're supposed to know exactly what the hell this means. Society outlines it for us in some way, telling us if it's right or wrong or up or down. But is it really us? I say no. I understand that there's a need for having societal expectations and societal rules because we're all in this together. We are all living in society where we have to play nice. Sometimes it's easier to play nice than others, and depending on the situation. But is it always what we truly want and what our desires are? Or are we being stifled by the expectations of the ones around us? Are we being told how to believe, to think, how to feel, and how to act based on our lineage? Based on expectations from those around us, including our society? I'm a white female living in a little old town of Burlington, Connecticut. What the hell does that mean? I'm supposed to be behaving a certain way, acting a certain way, and speaking a certain way. Is that right? Is that truly who I am? I question whether our true thoughts and feelings are our true thoughts and feelings. That's what's led me to being here right now, to standing in front of you. Because I didn't know this a couple of years ago. I am a legacy child. What does that mean? My family has a business. It happens to be a garden center, and it is 105 years old this year. My great-grandmother came over from Sweden with the dream of having a farm with root cellar. And guess what? She had 12 kids. Do you think there was an unspoken obligation in that? I think so. 12 kids, and therefore she had these gardens that were massive. She raised chickens, and she was able to provide for her family. I honestly don't know what my great-grandfather did, other than he worked in a watch factory. But 12 kids, and I still don't hear very many stories about him. So, going down the different generations, I am the 4th generation owner of what was started by my great-grandmother. That's a lot. That's a lot of pressure, but did I take it on myself, or was it something that was unspoken? I'm the only one in my entire generation that took over this amazing business that was started by this heroic woman back in 1919. Is that because society has told me I was supposed to do it, or is it something inside me that I decided myself? I honestly don't know. I believe that we are all guided and we are all driven to make our own decisions. We are our own people, but we are highly influenced by the ones around us. Having the people around you that you want to have around you may not always be possible. Sometimes you're born into a family that maybe doesn't align with what your true values are, but you don't even understand or realize it because it's just what you know. It's what you have grown up with. That's why families who are in poverty stay in poverty for so many generations because they don't know any different. That's why families who have abusive relationships repeat the pattern. Do they know any different? Do they know that they have choices? Or is it something that they are just ingrained with and it continues time after time again because they don't know any better? Is it a matter of education or is it a matter of internal work that needs to be done? It took me a long time and some pretty amazing coaches to be by my side to be able to come up with the fact that I have been living a life of unspoken obligations. I did not know that the reasons why I took over the family business now 15, 16 years ago was because of my personal unspoken obligations. I thought it was because I wanted to spend more time with my dad. My dad grew up in the family business doing what he had to do. Why did he have to do it? Why was he the one who was always stuck in the farm stand when he didn't want to? Why was he the one that took on the family business after all the other brothers and sisters didn't? Why was he the one? My uncle was also part of that mix as well. Why did they decide? Why do any of us decide that we need to continue something that was never ours? Let's talk about families. Let's talk about the dynamics of that. Are we expected to live a certain way because our family says we should or should not? Heaven forbid my family hears some of the stuff I'm going to say on this podcast, because they're probably not going to like it. But when are we going to break the mold? And when are we going to break out of these unspoken obligations? Families guide us. The little tiny comments, the little things here and there. Oh, of course you're going to go to college. Oh, you really should get a good job. What the hell is a good job? Is it supposed to be a doctor or a lawyer? Am I supposed to be somebody who loves planting gardens? What happens if I just wanted to go and drive a trash truck? I remember somebody saying that when I was in school. Their dream was to drive a trash truck. And they got belittled by the school system because they said that it wasn't an acceptable job. What the hell? What the hell? Why is that not acceptable? If that's where somebody's heart is it not societally acceptable? Is it not the family's acceptable? At what point do we start peeling away those layers and figuring out what our true heart is? Figuring out what's the real behind the skin inside. Not just what everybody expects us to do. What's wrong with being a trash truck driver? Having the family entity and the societal expectations of behaving in a certain way. What is morally acceptable? Sometimes the family unit needs to save face. Sometimes the family unit needs to have extra pride for whatever reasons of the history. So now we're talking about generations of parents and of children and of siblings working together to coming up with the same answer. And I've seen the generations of my own family. I have a very, very strong women line in my family. There's no doubt about that. They have the strength and the power. However, they are also very judgmental sometimes and very opinionated. That definitely affected the way I believed. and the things I would do and not do. Even being a mother, now that I have my own 2 beautiful daughters, I expect them to behave in certain ways. I know that I'm guiding them, and I'm only doing the best that I can, just like they did. But I'm guiding them in the way that I'm hoping is beneficial for them in the long run. Do I want them to take on any unspoken obligations that derives from my past that stops them from being their true selves? Hell frickin' no. Nor did my family, nor did the previous generations. I don't think anybody consciously is trying to mold and trying to suppress the individual. However, we do it every single day. Our laws, the politicians, all of these different layers of things. And that's what we're going to be talking about as we dive in. There's so many different topics that this is applicable for. I think that it's time that we pull back the curtain and we actually dive into what the hell these unspoken obligations are. And are they ones we want to keep? Or are they ones that we say, F you, get out of here because there's no room for you here anymore? Somebody has to draw the line. Somebody has to stand up and say enough is enough. I know because I struggle with not being happy. I have a hard time finding the joy sometimes. And it affects the people around me, unfortunately, because I know I have such a big personality. I don't want that. I want happiness, just like all of us do. So on this journey of this beautiful podcast, we're going to dive in to finding what are these little pieces and these little nuggets that we can open up and we can start finding what our true unspoken obligations have been. And then we can decide if we're going to keep them or we're going to let them go. It's going to be epic. You don't want to miss it. I'm excited to have you here with us. And I will see you on the next episode. Unspoken Obligations with Kaitlyn Parker.